The story of Resident Evil is expansive. As the mysterious horror franchise continues to develop, information is revealed about the story's origins as well as its continuation. Therefore, both the beginning and future state of the story are fluctuating, making it difficult to pinpoint a suitable starting point for newcomers to the lore. So, although it arguably is not the most important event, one can begin with the numbered Resident Evil game with the chronologically earliest main setting, Resident Evil 0. To explain this story, there is some background information that needs to be covered for context. Oswell E. Spencer. Born in Britain in 1923, Oswell E. Spencer was an ambitious young man with the goal of advancing the frontiers of biology. During his studies, Spencer traveled the world, coming in contact with notable scientists and biological specimens. One such case was when Dr. Miranda rescued him from hypothermia in an Eastern European country. There, he learned of the ancient infectious fungus, the megamycete. Miranda and her team had studied the megamycete and believed it had potential to recreate dead humans. Spencer was interested in this line of research, but it wasn't exactly what he desired to accomplish. So he left and continued searching for something more aligned with his ambitions. He became an established researcher, attaining his doctorate in virology. Alongside another distinguished researcher, Dr. James Marcus, and one of his students, Brandon Bailey, they traveled to Africa. There, the group came across another ancient flora, the sterae of the sun. From this flower, they extracted a virus, which they dubbed the progenitor. This virus would change the course of their lives as well as the world. Spencer and Marcus both began separately experimenting with the progenitor virus. Spencer had a vision. He saw the future of the world with himself as a godly leader of humanity. He planned to use viruses to accomplish his goal. Spencer secretly created a eugenics program that gathered human infants, aiming to instill them with his ideals and enhance them with the gene-altering abilities of the progenitor virus. These children were all given the surname Wesker, and the program was called the Wesker Project. To cover their unethical research expenses, Spencer, Marcus, and their wealthy friend, Edward Ashford, established a pharmaceutical company, the Umbrella Corporation. Spencer used a symbol from his time with Dr. Miranda to serve as its brand. For the founders' purposes, Umbrella was a cover-up, but it eventually became a success in its own right. Utilizing the rare medicinal herbs found in the Arklay mountain range near Raccoon City, they created successful medicines such as Aquacure, Safsprin, and Adravil. Umbrella used their massive revenue to expand globally, creating multiple bases and labs across the world, with branches in the USA largely under Marcus's control, and the facilities in Europe reporting to Spencer. These bases were used to ostensibly research medicines, but in secret, they were used to facilitate more nefarious studies. Alongside the secret Wesker project, research was being put into studying the progenitor virus and the mutations it caused in living subjects. Dr. James Marcus was spearheading his research direction with the progenitor virus. He combined the progenitor virus with leech DNA and created a new virus. He called this virus the tyrant virus, or T-virus for short. Depending on the host, the unpredictable T-virus transformed its host into one of a variety of monstrosities. In humans, T-infected hosts, living or dead, transformed into mindless, roaming corpses, decaying as they searched for living flesh to attack and devour. In essence, a zombie. But the T-virus could also infect other species, generating aggressive Cerberus from canines, for example. This virus and the monsters it produced had incredible value in warfare applications. The monumental discovery of the T-virus created a new branch of research into bioorganic weapons, or BOWs. It should be noted that a secret security force was developed by Umbrella to combat and clean up any escaped bioweapons. This was dubbed the Umbrella Security Service, or USS. Spencer grew fearful of the power and reputation that the T-virus discovery gave Dr. Marcus within Umbrella. It wasn't out of the realm of possibility for Marcus to overtake him as the company's leader. Still, for his discovery, Marcus was placed as the director of the Umbrella Research Center in the Arklay Mountains. This sprawling facility contained a laboratory, record repository, water treatment factory, and the Umbrella Training Facility. The training facility was used to educate future executives and researchers for the Umbrella Corporation. The research facility was located close to the notable Spencer Mansion. The Spencer Mansion was designed by George Trevor and was the site of the future event known as the Mansion Incident. Over the years, as head of the Umbrella Research Facility, Marcus continued his study of leeches while sparing some of his time to train new researchers for Umbrella. The only two that ever impressed him were William Birkin and Albert Wesker. Specifically, Wesker was a product of the Wesker Project, but only Spencer was aware of that. Not even Wesker himself knew. Marcus's obsession over his research began to eat away at his sanity. When his fellow researchers questioned him or interfered, Marcus would use them as test subjects in future experiments. Eventually, he managed to create leeches that formed into a hive mind and operate as a single organism. They would mimic a human's forms and motions. These would eventually be called Marcus mimics. The insane Dr. Marcus began to view these leeches as his children. 10 years after the discovery of the T-virus, Spencer had Dr. Marcus assassinated by two of Marcus's trusted trainees, namely William Birkin and Albert Wesker. Birkin took over his leading role in viral research. Wesker, on the other hand, researched a supremely powerful T-virus-based bioweapon called Tyrant. After Marcus's death, the Umbrella Research Facility in the Arklay Mountains was closed down. However, one of Marcus's experiments, the Queen Leech, escaped containment during his assassination. By entering Marcus's corpse and eating his hippocampus, the Queen Leech obtained all of Marcus's memories. The Queen Leech transformed itself into an image of Marcus during his younger years, and believed itself to be Marcus reborn. So Marcus, the Queen Leech, began plotting its revenge against Spencer and Umbrella. Though, at this point, Umbrella was a massive corporation with enough money to keep anyone from interrupting their business. This included the Raccoon City Police Department. Brian Irons was a deplorable man who had somehow risen to the rank of Raccoon City Police Chief. In doing so, he managed to keep his history of serial assaults and murders hidden. As Chief of Police, he received numerous donations from the Raccoon City branch of the Umbrella Corporation, who convinced him to serve their interests. Irons looked the other way from any incident involving Umbrella's unethical research and allowed for William Birkin and his wife Annette to oversee their underground research facility, Nest. Serving directly under Chief Irons were the uniformed officers such as Marvin Branagh and the newly hired rookie Leon S. Kennedy. Now, as far as the public was concerned, Umbrella was simply a pharmaceutical company with a branch in Raccoon City, so the donations weren't too suspicious. Still, Umbrella was responsible for many of Irons' decisions. Umbrella nominated Chief Irons to oversee an orphanage, which they secretly used to obtain child test subjects. Also through their donations, Umbrella convinced Irons to create the privately funded STARS branch within the Raccoon Police Department. This was done because Umbrella wished to create a disposable team of military-trained operatives against which they could test the efficacy of their bioweapons. The Special Tactics and Rescue Service, STARS, was an elite branch of the RPD. This squad consisted of military-trained operatives and scientific specialists formed into two teams, Alpha and Bravo. Alpha team consisted of weapons specialist Barry Burton, demolition and maintenance expert Joseph Frost, pilot, computer specialist, and hazardous substance handler Brad Vickers, infiltration specialist Jill Valentine, sharpshooter and co-pilot Chris Redfield, and finally, biotechnology specialist and Alpha team leader Albert Wesker. Of course, Albert Wesker kept his ties to Umbrella secret. Bravo team consisted of chemist Kenneth J. Sullivan, communications expert Richard Aiken, maintenance specialist and pilot Edward Dewey, sharpshooter Forrest Speyer, Bravo team leader Enrico Marini, and the notable young chemical expert and combat medic Rebecca Chambers. STARS was distinct from the RPD as they were privately funded. Still, 2 years after STARS was founded, rumors swirled about mysterious murders that had been occurring in the Arklay Mountains, 8 miles north of Raccoon City. The uniformed officers of the Raccoon City Police Department found nothing, so the STARS Bravo team was dispatched to investigate. As it turned out, the Queen Leech Marcus initiated its plot for revenge by leaking the T-virus in the Spencer Mansion, the Umbrella Research Center, and its access train, the Ecliptic Express. Bravo team arrived above the investigation site by helicopter. Unfortunately, their helicopter's engine failed, and they were forced to land in the woods. There, they discovered the dead bodies of a prisoner escort. The prisoner was ex-military Lieutenant Billy Cohen, who had been court-martialed and sentenced to the death penalty for unjustly killing multiple people. Now Billy had escaped. Suspecting a connection between Billy and the bizarre murders in the mountains, Captain Enrico told the Bravo team to split up and find Billy Cohen while they investigated the surrounding area. Rebecca Chambers split off and came to the stalled Ecliptic Express. She entered the train to investigate and found the passenger cars filled with corpses. Surprisingly, the corpses rose in a zombified state and approached Rebecca to attack. She defended herself and continued investigating the train, now wary of more threats. Billy Cohen came across Rebecca while on the train. Officer Chambers recognized him from the prisoner escort file and moved to place him under arrest. However, Billy slipped away after another Bravo team member crashed through a nearby window for safety. Edward was injured and dying, but he informed Rebecca of the zombies and monsters out in the surrounding forest. As if to punctuate the statement, 2 T-virus infected dogs, called Cerberus, followed through the window. Rebecca dispatched them before Captain Enrico contacted her over walkie-talkie. He informed her with updated information about the fugitive Billy Cohen. Apparently, he was a mass murderer who had killed as many as 23 people. Moments later, Billy approached Rebecca once again, this time with an offer of teaming up to survive the monsters in the area. Initially, Rebecca refused to trust Billy, due to his alleged crimes. However, she quickly realized that she did indeed need backup when she came across a Marcus mimic. As previously noted, the Marcus mimics were an amalgamation of infected leeches. They were incredibly resilient and could explode upon their defeat, causing bodily harm and spreading the leech-borne infection further. Billy quickly acted in defense of Rebecca, saving her from the Marcus mimic. Outside the train window, they caught a glimpse of the Queen Leech in Marcus form. Unsure what to make of the strange sighting, Rebecca and Billy began repairing the train in order to escape the forest of monsters. They came across a gigantic infected scorpion that they had to defeat. This was Stinger, a bioweapon experiment that had escaped. The pair defeated Stinger and eventually discovered its containment cart, where the bioorganic weapons were stored for transportation. The train began moving again, but in an uncontrolled runaway fashion. Now Billy and Rebecca had to find a way to stop it. They didn't want to crash or risk derailment. While navigating the train, Rebecca saw the zombified body of her Bravo squad mate, Edward. Word reached Umbrella about the leaked T-virus in the Ecliptic Express as well as the Spencer Mansion. They responded by dispatching their security force to investigate and contain the leak. However, Marcus's leeches quickly overwhelmed those troops. Billy and Rebecca worked together to engage the brakes on the train, but still the train crashed at Umbrella's training facility. Billy and Rebecca survived the crash, but now entered into another dangerous situation. Queen Leech Marcus contacted Albert Wesker and William Birkin to reveal that it was responsible for spreading the T-virus as an act of vengeance against Umbrella. Umbrella had ordered and committed the murder of the actual James Marcus 10 years prior. But none of that mattered to Billy and Rebecca, who now needed to make their way out of the training facility. While investigating, they encountered and defeated Centurion, an infected centipede-based bioweapon. The duo were being surveilled by Queen Leech Marcus, who decided to release Eliminators upon them to keep them from interfering further. Eliminators were fast, aggressive, infected monkey-based bioweapons. They managed to separate the duo, forcing Rebecca into a life-threatening situation. Billy had to move quickly to save her. After his tense rescue of Rebecca, Billy revealed the truth about his court-martial. His Marine troop was operating to settle a civil war in Africa, confronting guerrilla soldiers. Billy revealed that his military unit pursued their targets deep into unforgiving terrain. They lost troops along the way, and when they reached their destination, the enemy was nowhere in sight. Rather, they had been operating under mistaken intel, and they arrived at an innocent village. Still, his commanding officer demanded that his unit murder the residents as instructed. The commanding officer irrationally thought that this would justify the loss of troops and stay true to their orders. That was as much as Billy was willing to share. But it was clear that Billy had refused the order and was pinned with the blame after his fellow Marines had committed the heinous act. This explained his 23 counts of murder and his court-martial. Nevertheless, the duo continued their shared goal of escaping the present horror. Billy and Rebecca were also being tracked by Birkin and Wesker. Wesker decided he would leave Umbrella, but continued with his plan to bring the STARS members to the Spencer Mansion. Birkin needed more time to research the G-virus, so he decided to eventually cover up the T-virus leak by self-destructing the research center. Billy and Rebecca eventually navigated the convoluted puzzles, locks, and monsters. including the deadly bioweapons known as hunters. They exited the training facility and quickly came across a church occupied by a giant infected bat. After defeating the bat, the duo gained access to the research center. This lab, library, and archive housed information about the history of the T-virus and leech research. In the research center, Billy and Rebecca came across an aerial cable car that they managed to get operational. However, an eliminator appeared and knocked Billy into a river, washing him away and separating the duo once again. Rebecca followed the river by riding the cable car downstream, arriving at a hydroelectric dam-powered factory and water treatment plant. As she made her way toward the factory, she encountered Captain Enrico. He told her that he would be continuing his investigation at the nearby Spencer mansion. Rebecca chose to stay behind to find out what happened to Billy. Shortly after, Rebecca encountered a prototype Tyrant denoted T-001 by the Umbrella researchers. This was a very powerful bioweapon, though still at an early stage of production. She managed to defeat the Tyrant and cleared further into the factory/water treatment plant. From an overpass, she caught a glimpse of Billy being washed further downstream. Rebecca caught up to him and managed to pull him from the water. After Billy recovered, they were able to continue their investigation of the factory. The prototype Tyrant appeared once again and fought them. This time, the duo managed to defeat it permanently. At this time, Wesker stopped surveilling Billy and Rebecca and returned to Raccoon City. However, he was forced to fight his way through the training facility. There, the zombies dispatched by Billy and Rebecca had undergone the V-Act process, turning them into the more deadly Crimson Heads. V-Act was a last-ditch survival process for T-infected humans, where the host enters a dormant state, appearing dead, only to mutate further into a more deadly form. Crimson Heads are one example of the result. Still, Wesker made it out, only to be ambushed by Sergei, an Umbrella officer from their European branch who had little trust in Wesker. Wesker survived the ambush and returned to Raccoon City to lure the STARS Alpha team to Spencer Mansion. Back in the depths of the factory, Billy and Rebecca found a room overrun with leeches. Here, the Queen Leech addressed them in Dr. Marcus form. It revealed that it had taken over Marcus's corpse after his assassination and obtained all of his memories. It was now acting in vengeance against Umbrella. Unwilling to allow the duo to interfere, the Queen Leech transformed to kill them. Billy and Rebecca downed the Queen Leech and moved to escape the factory. As they fled via a transport lift, the Queen Leech rose again and pursued them, forcing them to battle once more. William Birkin initiated the facility's self-destruct protocol, forcing Billy and Rebecca to defeat the Queen Leech and flee in time to escape the impending explosion. As they fought, they realized the Queen Leech was near indestructible. However, Rebecca noticed its aversion to the sunlight shining through a hole in the ceiling. She decided to open the retractable roof while Billy distracted the Queen Leech. After opening the roof, the leech began burning away in the morning sunlight. Rebecca tossed a magnum to Billy, who took the opportunity to deliver the final blow. He shot the Queen Leech, knocking it into the self-destructing facility moments before escaping the explosion. Later, upon a nearby ridge, Rebecca told Billy that she would claim he had died during the events of the Arklay Mountain investigation, effectively freeing him from his unjust death sentence. With that, Billy went on his way, while the young STARS operative set her sights on the Spencer Mansion. This ends the events of Resident Evil 0. I hope you enjoyed the summary, and thank you for watching.